But they have confirmed to us that the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya made a call and complained that some cabinet secretaries and some other senior government officers have been meeting at Lamanda, and they gave a specific date of 14th May. And in that meeting, there were plans that were being hatched in that meeting at Lamanda to kill him. And that is why the DCI thought those allegations were serious enough to warrant summoning us to this meeting this morning. We have not been able to record any statement because standard procedure is that if somebody makes an allegation of that nature, that person is required by law to record a statement.
Some of us have been involved in these meetings. They have nothing to do with planning to assassinate anyone. The question then is, why would anyone suggest such a ridiculous thing? We are convinced that those behind these allegations are trying to stop the Mount Kenya cabinet secretaries from assisting Mount Kenya members of parliament to push development for the region.
And I think the DP needs to be very honest here. Very, very honest. Very, very honest. Why didn't he write the statement himself? Why? Did he have to make a call? If all of us do make calls to DCI, will he work? If surely he believes that something was being planned, why can't he just do the statement? And then we follow up from there.
This kind of statement is what goes into creating division within our country. This is the time that the president has called us to be unified, to have unity. So when we make such a statement, it can only create divisions. And I think this is the wrong time for such a statement to come. It's unfortunate, and we want to tell our cabinet secretary we support them.
People should not fear that some people are not safe, but my concern is really to send the CS to a theater and laugh at them in a political theater, instead of allowing them to go and work the way they're supposed to work.
So that has been the big story today. 3 cabinet secretaries have denied ever meeting to plan the alleged assassination of Deputy President of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto. The 3 CSs, Peter Munya of Trade, Cecily Kariuki of Health, and Joe Musheru of ICT were grilled by the Directorate of Criminal Investigation officers early today. According to the DCI, the Deputy President called and reported a plan by top government officials to, quote, eliminate him. Speaking on behalf of the CSS, Peter Munya said they declined to record any statement because there was nothing in the occurrence book. And in a quick rejoinder, members drawn from the Keleweke wing of the ruling Jubilee party have dismissed the DP's claims, accusing Ruto of trying to micromanage leaders from central Kenya. But who wants to kill the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, and why? What are the implications of these allegations that are now flying around, touching on the second most powerful man in the Republic of Kenya? That is the question we are trying to answer this evening on The Big Story. We will do that with Caleb Hamisi, who's a member of Parliament, Saboti. We'll be speaking to him on phone in a couple of minutes. We will also be speaking to George Msamali, who's a security analyst, just to pick his mind about these allegations against the Deputy President, assassination allegations. Those are not very small allegations to play around with. Then we'll also be speaking to Danstan Omari. Danstan Omari is a political analyst, but we'll also pick his mind from the context of the fact that he is a lawyer. You have CSS saying, no, we are not giving any statement until the Deputy President himself records his own statement. So in a bit, we'll be engaging the gentleman. But for now, let's bring in our lead reporter, Duncan Khaemba. Khaemba, good evening. Can you hear me?
Good evening, Linda. I can hear you as you prepare to talk to Caleb Hamisi of Saboti, George Msamali, and Danstan Omari.
Yeah.
I will be talking to South Mugirango legislator Sylvanus Osoro in a short while, but perhaps before I engage him, maybe it's just important maybe to underscore the fact that you've asked who is out to harm the deputy president. Ordinarily, a common mwananchi will ask, looking at a rating of securities that is thrown around the deputy president, for such allegations to come that would warrant 3 CSs early Monday morning show up at the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, then clearly this is a big matter that perhaps maybe qualifies as to why on the big story tonight, we'll be trying to see how far we can get at least some information that maybe we can piece together for the country to know what is it exactly at stake. Is it political propaganda at war? Are they serious issues as they are? If yes, then why? And who could be behind it? Of course, weighty as they are, we'll be putting that question to a member of the political outfit that is allied to the deputy president, popularly now referring to itself as Tanga Tanga. Now we'll be knowing to know exactly what is at play. Mheshimiwa Osoro, the question that everybody wants to know, who made the complaint to the DCI? Because the CSS went there and asked that they declined to record any statement because they said there's no complainant. How did we arrive at that particular early Monday summons for 3 CSS?
There has been contradicting statements over the same. The CS Munya, while giving a presser this morning, he said that he learned that there was a complaint. Perhaps the DCI had, the investigating officer informed him that the deputy president had made a call earlier complaining. But you can agree with me, and perhaps in a section of the media, as you've seen it reported, the DCI has come out clear and has actually said that it is actually the President of the Republic of Kenya that made a call to him to have the matter investigated. And just as Munya said, of course, because there was no formal complaint from the deputy president, they couldn't take statements. But it is not the deputy president that made a call to the DCI. It is not the deputy president that talked to any top police organ. It is just like what we've learned from the media. It is His Excellency the President of the Republic of Kenya. And you'll notice that nothing can be further from the truth. We are not very certain that perhaps there are some guys who've been sent or anything, but nothing can be further from the truth. There are questions that we need to ask ourselves. The Deputy President of Kenya is the second highest office in the land in this country. But you'll agree with me, in the recent past, his meetings have been seen as missing the top security organs in counties. Recently, when he came to Nyamira, a neighboring county from a county, and even in Kisii, there was no presence of the county commissioner, the DCC of the area wasn't there, even the area chiefs. And clearly when you talk to them, because we interact with them, they tell us they've received instructions from the top security organ and the PS Karanja Kibichu not to attend the meetings by the deputy president. And they're in charge of security of those counties. I mean, really, why should you tell your chief not to attend a meeting by the deputy president? You'll even agree again, you'll remember in Nyeri, when the deputy president went there, and you could even notice that not even the top security organ, the top police officer was present. And later, there were contradicting statements. Kibichu said he had not received a circular over his diary. His very own junior officer, an OCPD of that area, and the county commander, refuted those claims and said, we knew those things. We were told about 5 days earlier. So nothing can be further from the truth. We are just thinking, aloud. We are trying to look at all scenarios.
So for the president to come and call for DCI to investigate, and the fact that there's no complainant, how did this matter come about? Because even the CSS said that they want the DCI to investigate the authenticity of the purported communication that had captured a meeting that involved the 4 CSs. So who could be behind or the source of that particular communication that until now it's not yet known the source?
We are not very sure. But let me tell you that even the devil has his soldiers. Even the devil has people who listen to him and, has people that can report to him. I'll tell you, this is just something that leaked up. We do not know how it leaked up. But again, right from the presser, where Munya gave himself, you'll notice even in the whole press statement, he was undermining his boss, one of his bosses, and that is the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. He was saying, oh, these are just allegations, and now we've just learned that is actually the President that requested the DCI to investigate the matter. But again, you also need to ask yourself, when Munya came out in defense of the meeting, of the whole scenario, he said that indeed there was a meeting in Lamada. But he said that that meeting was about development of Central Kenya. I mean, do we only have 3 CSs from Central Kenya? Why was CS Kinjuri missing in that meeting to discuss about development? Why was he missing? Is it because he's perceived to be close to the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya? That is number one. Number two, why would you hold a developmental meeting in a hotel on the basement with instructions to leave your phone outside? How would you do that? Why are the phones left outside discussing about development at the basement of a hotel?
But again, you'll understand that he explained that when members of parliament from Central actually lodged complaints that there's no development from their region, then they said that they were picked to meet the members and collect views and present them to the president so that they'll see what to do. So would you fault now the president as to why CS Kiunjuri was not part of the 4?
No. And with a lot of respect to His Excellency the President, and I really want us not to engage this, putting the President into the whole scenario. But look at it this way. If indeed there were complaints by the members of Parliament, how then do you discuss about development of their constituencies and their counties without them in the meeting? Today, you've noticed it was just a handful of members of Parliament from Central, commonly from the team commonly known as Kieleweke, coming out in defense of the CS Munya. None of them has raised the issue about development. None of them has said, okay, there were this development that we had raised. Even the Kieleweke team themselves, they've just taken the political angle and came out bracely defending the CSs. I mean, if indeed it was about development, if indeed, because we need to give the devil his due, if indeed it was about development, why did we miss the members of Parliament? Not even a single member of Parliament. And why would you hold a meeting discussing development at night, in the night? Why would you hold such a meeting? Why would you hold a meeting to discuss about development at Lamada Hotel when you've got government offices? Why did we have only selective CSs? I mean, really, is development about Central Kenya? Okay, fine. Were the CSs appointed to represent Central Kenya only or Kenya at large? Should we also hold our meeting from Gusii region with people from Gusii area and hold a meeting somewhere? Why was the Interior Security Minister, who is the coordinator of national government, missing in that meeting? So there is a lot that we look at this matter, and trust me, there is a bit of suspicion, and this is not really, we are not trying to impute some improper motives, but there is a lot that is not linking up. You cannot hold a developmental meeting at a hotel under the basement, and you leave the phones with the instructions to leave the phones outside.
Mm-hmm. But we are yet to know whether clearly that is the position. But tell me this. How does this one, what picture does this paint? Because these are members essentially who sit in one of the highest offices, that is the cabinet, because these are members that serve within the same cabinet. Now, when you have CSs of that caliber, and then they are now accusing the deputy president, who essentially is the president's right-hand man, what does this say about the executive as it stands? Because you're not a member of Jubilee, but you are allied to the Tanga squad. But what could you tell us in terms of the picture this paints? Because these are members who ideally serve in the same cabinet. How are they supposed to meet this week on Thursday if that meeting will be there? And then they are pointing fingers at the deputy, and the president is saying to have actually called for the investigation.
It is indeed laughable. I am not a member of Jubilee, but the Jubilee slogan of Tuko Pamoja is just laughable. It's not real. And they've allowed succession politics to take center stage at the expense of development, at the expense of the Big Four agenda. Every person is looking at their position beyond 2022. And I tend to think that these are the people trying to confuse His Excellency the President from, focus. They are looking at their interest. They are, of course, very sure that after 3 years, being the appointment, the jobs, such positions being coming out of appointments from His Excellency the President, clearly every person would be scared. I mean, what makes of us after 2022? But again, this already shows there is a bit of turbulence and confusion within the Jubilee House, and it never started yesterday. I mean, they started, and as I said, it's about 2022 succession politics.
That is the question. As we wind up, that will be my final question. I will still pick from where you are saying. Are you confirming that it's succession politics at play? And if that is the case, this country has a history when it comes to succession politics. There are visions. And you cannot, you know what has happened whenever we are nearing a transition from one regime to the other. So for you to confirm that it's succession politics at play, are you in essence saying that Jubilee Party is as good as dead?
I'm not a member of Jubilee Party, but I'll now make my personal opinion and say, clearly, there is a bit of confusion on Jubilee Party, but I still believe that the leadership of the Jubilee Party perhaps will sit down and again, reclaim its glory and sit down and discuss and say, we now need to move on. I still have faith in that. However, every person should know that you really, if this thing is never that too serious. I mean, really, we shouldn't get to that level that we think that we can get other people off and so that we retain our position. It's never that serious because we can't live together forever. I mean, even if you take any person's life, if such claims exist, you can't live forever and you cannot be in power forever. Moi was in power for 24 years, but he eventually left. So people need to know that we need to focus on development. It shouldn't be about politics every now and then and focusing about 2024. And as I wind up on this whole story, I just want to dedicate the story of Mordecai to His Excellency the Deputy President of Kenya in the book of Esther 1 to 10, so that he knows that that very thing that they've planned for you, they'll hang there themselves.
Well, Linda, there you've had it, South Mugirango lawmaker dedicating a book to the Deputy President. Clearly, there's trouble in Jubilee Party. There's trouble as far as succession politics in the country is concerned, if I'm to borrow his words. And let's listen to what others will have to say as we try to look at this particular matter. Of course, the big question still remains, who is after the DP? Over to you, Linda.
You can ask that question, who is after the DP? But then let me just take our viewers back to the origin of this whole fiasco that we've witnessed today. So apparently, there's a letter that was written to President Uhuru Kenyatta by one of his cabinet secretaries dated 30th May 2019. It's a long letter. But towards the end of the letter, the person says about the meeting that apparently they had as cabinet secretaries, he says, what was most concerning is the third agenda. The PS told the meeting that the DP must be stopped, but more worrying was the fact that he alluded to a late cabinet minister who perished in a plane crash. The PS went on to say that even that particular person was stopped. So who does this one think he is? Goes on to say, Your Excellency, I have an issue with this whole arrangement. In my entire life as a public servant, I have never involved myself in politics, conspiracy, and hate campaign, leave alone plotting to eliminate political leaders. As a diligent and loyal public servant, I write to you to request to be exempted from these meetings. I do so because the PS said he has expressed instructions from you to have us take part and implement decisions arrived at. So that is the letter that was written by one of the cabinet secretaries who apparently attended this particular meeting that seems to have been plotting to quote-unquote eliminate Deputy President William Ruto. And for anyone listening into this story, it's even absurd that we're having this conversation, that someone can sit down and plan or even think of plotting the elimination of Deputy President William Ruto. There are all manner of allegations. Peter Munya in the morning says, who is a complainant. The complainant should come and write a statement, then we'll be able to react to it. I'd like to pick the mind of Danstan Umari, who's joining us from our City Center studio. Danstan, if you can hear me, what goes through your mind when you watch the CSS at the DCI's office in the morning and the allegations that are now coming up? I mean, these are serious allegations. This is the number 2 person in the Republic of Kenya. You have 3 CSS being summoned, allegedly over assassination plot against the deputy president, a sitting deputy president. What comes through mind?
Well, Linda and viewers of KTN News, this is shocking. This country's stability is at the bottom of what we can't imagine. There are 3 lives in this country that are very critical for the stability and continued survival of this nation. The first life is the life of the president of this country. His life is not his own. It is the state national security issue. The life of the deputy president similarly is a national issue, is a national security issue. The life of Raila Odinga is not an ordinary life. Those 3 lives guarantee the safety, the stability, the future for children in this nation. Therefore, when you hear a minister saying that there is no complaint, we are not talking about the life of Omari Danstan. We are not talking about the life of an ordinary citizen. We are talking about a national security life. That is why citizens have put massive resources to protect those 3 lives. And therefore, in my own position, what Cabinet Minister Munya is talking about, he seems to be thinking that the life of a deputy president is a life of an ordinary Kibera person. Number 2, Linda, we are looking at a question that has become no longer a political question. This country has a litany of assassinations that that will be recorded in the historical and political landscape of this country. So it is not a joke. People have been assassinated. Politicians have been assassinated. From the likes, the very many likes of people are Awings Kodek, we have Tom Boya, we have very many JM Karaoke, we have a history. So when the deputy president's life is appearing to be among such lives, then every Kenyan should ask themselves, are we going to have one nation? Are we going to have a country? Or we are going to be in tatters? Thirdly, what is the implication globally? This is the cabinet. The deputy president is a member of the cabinet. The 3 cabinet members sit in the cabinet. What will be our partners? What is the American government going to think about us? How is Britain going to look at us? Are we a banana country where the life of the second man in command is at risk? I think the DCI should not wait for a statement from the deputy president. If it is true, I don't want to say, if it is true that the complaint came from the head of state, as Mheshimiwa Osoro is saying, then that is a grave issue. If it is not true, what is true is that there is a claim that the life of deputy president is at risk.
Because that is what worries me as well. Because what if these are mere allegations and they're not true? What damage then has been done? Because this is a sitting deputy president, and there's a perception that this may be a political war, quote unquote. What then does this do to the president? What then does this do to the president himself? I listened in to Munya and he said, I mean, we've been having these meetings were okayed by the president of the Republic of Kenya, and then these allegations now come in.
The damage is on 2 sides. If it is true that it is the president who told the DCI to investigate, then the president is the commander-in-chief. He gets reports from the NSIs every day. He gets reports from the National Security Council. He is briefed properly of what is happening. He cannot make a statement out of no information. The president is the commander-in-chief. If it is the team called Tanga Tanga that has created this story so that it is politics, then the damage this nation will solely be on their shoulders. Because the damage to this nation, the security risk, Linda, Kenyans are paranoid. As we are talking on the streets, everybody is asking, what next? Are we safe? if the second in command is in danger. So, if it is not true, this is a reason to impeach the deputy president so that he is sacked and he goes home.
No,
because
but
he will have caused great pandemonium if it is true. And
Omari,
serious investigations link that it was politics.
Listen, this is not just any other allegation.
Yes.
There are heavy connotations in all this. And I listened to Munya in the morning and he said, we're not going to give a statement. Who is the complainant? I mean, if it's the deputy president, then by all means let him come and write a statement. And they're justified, aren't they?
They're not justified. I've told Linda that the deputy president cannot walk to a police station to record a statement. If the deputy president sits in car and pretty and he waits for the bullet to get him, who will suffer? It is the blood of Kenyans that will flow in this country. It is the responsibility of the DCI to walk to the deputy president and record a statement.
Okay, hold on, Omari. So the DCI, if at all, the deputy president is the complainant, before summoning the 3 CSs, they should have gotten the statement from the deputy president.
Yes.
Great. Okay. So, am I allowed to take a break at that point? Yes, I am. So, you're watching The Big Story. Allow me to take a short break. We'll come back with this conversation with Danson Omari. I'm hoping I can drop in George Msemali, the security analyst as well, and Caleb Amisi, member of parliament, Saboti, in a couple of minutes. Stay with us.